Hello, it's us, Shanye. Is now everyone says that about this outfit because you started that. Where is Simon? He's not even in here yet. Wait a few more minutes for folks to get in. Me too. I'm excited about this one too. I feel like maybe to other people, Simon may be a little bit like, people may think he's a little bit quiet, but hopefully you guys will start to see the chatty side of him tonight. Where is Simon? Is he in here? I also am very on time. I'm sorry. I had to make sure I was actually on the Feels live this time because last time I went live on my own, my personal page. Okay, Simon, I am adding you to this now that you are here. Yo.
Yo, we are on.
Okay, here.
Oh, you know, I have to get a cut. I have to get the cut.
I'm crying.
Hina's over here talking.
So my camera is so far away, my phone, and I have terrible vision. But it I don't know what it is when it dual screens, it zooms in so close to my face. So it's
yeah, I was just seeing I was
this
gonna say, why
close,
is it so close
to my face.
It's so funny. Okay, maybe I should step back because I feel really close to it.
That's not, I know. And then we save these videos and post them on our page, and then all I see is my big ass head. So, okay.
We're really doing this. First time on live.
Is this your first time on live?
Yes. I did a raffle one time, and that was like 5 minutes, and that was the only time I ever went on live. So
that was probably the funniest live I did when I went on live for a raffle. Bobby was helping me, and we had ripped up all these pieces of paper to put them in this gauntlet thing so I could pick them out because he wanted a dramatic, cinematic effect. And right as I hit go live, the whole thing spilled.
Oh no. Dang.
Okay, shall we start? Should we get into
let's do it?
Okay, tell the folks a little bit about yourself because, for those of you that don't know much about layers or the feels, we started this new series to highlight Black and artists of color to come in and talk about themselves a little bit more and in depth and get to know people a little bit better. A lot of artists are good at sharing their work, but sometimes they may not get to know the person themselves. So we wanted to dive deep and talk to you about all the things. So tell us and the people about yourself.
Well, first off, thank you for putting me on here. You already did 2 amazing artists, so I feel really honored to just be able to talk about art and stuff. But my name is Simon Legaspi. I'm 27 years old, and I'm full Filipino.
Woo-woo. What type of artist are you? What's your preferred medium?
I would say I'm just a contemporary artist. I work traditionally most of the time. I like to work with acrylic. Kind of just taught myself how to do all that. But I do like working with spray paint. That was kind of my first intro to painting at all, was with graffiti and stuff when I was younger. So, but nowadays I'm going more into digital just because I feel like I can get my ideas out faster that way. So I'm just tapping into different things, but mostly acrylic paint.
Yeah. Well, digital is when I met you, I think that's like primarily what I knew you because you were doing a lot of graphic design work.
Right. Yeah.
Um, what was your like past with your previous work with like like how did that even come about?
Well, honestly, I didn't even know what graphic design was when I kind of dove into it. I knew it was just like at the time I was trying to figure out what career path I was wanted to go into, but I knew I had to deal with something creative. And corporate world, I found like graphic design, and I just saw the word graphic, and I was like, oh, that's fun. Like I used to skateboard a lot, so it's like graphic boards and like graphic tees and stuff like that. So like it kind of drew me in. But I didn't going into college and art school, I didn't know what graphic design was. I just wanted to dive into it.
Yeah.
But eventually, I fell in love with it. I had a passion for it, and just building logos and brands and doing typography, things like that. Um, and so out of college, I did that full time for about 5 years until I started doing this art stuff and painting. So
Yeah. That's so dope. I know I remember when you were like, I'm doing it. I'm going a full-time artist.
very,
What was that whole like process like for you? I know like one taking a deep dive as an artist and just making that your main line of work and doing that full time is a huge step for people because the art world can be a tricky world. It's like it's hard, man.
it
Like
is. It's real
um,
hard.
how like how did you tell your family and like stuff like coming from an Asian household? I know like I always had it in my mind. Like my parents weren't this way, but like they were pretty open to me doing whatever I wanted to do, like whatever made me happy and stuff like that. But I
Mhm.
know with like a lot of Asian families and Asian parents like have a certain expectation, like doctors or like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, what did they say when you decided to go full time artist? Like what was the reaction?
Well, I mean, my parents are really supportive. Like even me deciding to go to art school, like they were there in my orientation, like they're just all for it just because they knew that since I was a little kid, like art was something I was really good at. I was just really good at drawing, and I'm always trying to like enter little contests at school and stuff and being like featured on the little walls at school or whatever, right? So like they've always just felt like that's kind of my lane. And like they obviously they always hint like something medical because my mom was a nurse, and but she's also like she loved drawing and stuff when she was younger, so she
Yeah.
understood it. And like they would always push it like, oh, you could like get into medical field, like there's different positions, you don't even have to be like a nurse or whatever, it's different position just because there's
Yeah.
job security, right? And like all Filipinos are like nurses, we all work in the medical field, I feel like, or like you're like a mailman or something, right? but like we dominate like the nurses and stuff like that. But like so I guess the moment when I had told them, I was I've been doing design work, I was in the industry for a while, and just like I kind of worked my way up company already from starting from an intern, being like a full-time designer, and I was doing it for a minute, and things just kind of got repetitive for me. And like at that time I was really just like starting to get frustrated creatively. I felt like I didn't have that creative freedom to just create, and that was something that became really important to me. Like I just was starting to feel undervalued. You have people's kind of maneuvering what you're creating, and it was
Yeah.
just it takes a toll on you as an artist. But like this whole thing, when I found the outlet for painting, it just kind of felt freeing. It just felt like it put me in such a place where I was just really happy when I was in the zone of it. And
Yeah.
that's when I kind of was starting to decide that I felt like this would be the direction for me.
Mm-hmm.
And like at that time, commissions were coming in. I had like a list of people who wanted art from me, so I kind of
Yeah.
just had that in the back on the side while I was doing my 9 to 5. But I really it just felt right at the time, and I was kind of lost, and I didn't know what direction I wanted to go with creatively. So when I did decide to like I want to do this full time, I told my family, because we would have like lunches after church. We would
Mhm.
gather as a family and have family time and go out to eat and stuff. Remember going to this pho restaurant, and then, we're sitting down eating, and I was like, yeah, so this painting thing, I have like a good list, a good amount of people. Like, people are really liking what I'm doing, and it's fun, and I'm like creating, like, even though it wasn't a lot of money that I was selling my art at the time,
Yeah.
it was like I felt like I had enough to just kind of have that leeway to tell my parents, like, hey, like, I could do this for a while and see, like,
Yeah.
try it out. So I told them about it, and I was like, I think I'm gonna quit my job. Like, I think it's time to just put my 2 weeks in and try to dive into it, because that's all I was thinking about outside of work and during
Yeah.
work. Like, I couldn't wait to just go home and like paint, and it was like distracting me from my 9 to 5 at sometimes. And
Yeah.
I just, yeah, it was just like the right time. And my parents, they were worried about it because job security,
Mhm.
if you're gonna go full-time artist, it's pretty much like you're starting your own business. You don't know if it's
Yeah.
gonna like, it's hard to start a business and be an entrepreneur. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's not really talked about a lot of times, that when you become an artist, you're essentially putting yourself in a position to start a business, and you got to know all those things.
Yeah, it's
And
hard navigating through it, like just going off and making that whole decision, trying to like form the thought of you just like relying on your own artwork for your main source of income. It's like weird going through the transition too of like doing something that started off as just your passion or something you really enjoy doing, and then deciding to take it to like, okay, we're making this how I'm gonna survive.
yeah,
It
it's
gets
scary.
stressful.
It's really stressful. It was scary, but it was like, man, it was now or never for me. It was like I was still in my early 20s, and I was like, I'd rather build now and live this life that I want and just be happy and like fully be creative and
Yeah.
try to make it work than like switch to a new position just because I'm not enjoying this one or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I really thought it was like now or never, and I've always felt like I wanted to work for myself, and that
Yeah.
was always been the end goal for me in life. And so my parents, they supported it. They really did. And it's like, I'm lucky to have supportive parents like that.
Yeah.
But during those hard times, like really trying to like make this work, it was like, what are you doing? Like,
Right.
it's like always the question, like, are you making enough? Are you like, what is the end goal for this? Or like,
Yeah.
there, you know, you can go get a job part-time if you want to. And I'm like, no, like, it's either I put my whole self into it and dedicate my all time and hours into it, or I really can't do it. Like, it's not gonna happen for me if I don't.
For
So
sure. No,
yeah.
respect. I know you've done it without caving to get like at least a part-time job. I've gotten full-time artist I think like twice now. I think I was like getting stressed out like during slow seasons, which is just the ebb and the flow for like art life, oftentimes. And like I would get stressed out. So I'd be like, shit, I gotta go find
Yeah,
a consistent paycheck. But like it's like draining. You don't have the
it
time
is.
to like think creatively like while working, even if it's part-time. It's hard
Yeah, it's
to
hard.
stay.
It's hard.
Yeah, so respect, and that's dope that your parents are so supportive. I feel
Hmm.
like a lot I'm starting to hear that like a lot more, like that more parents are starting to be like okay and not as worried about going full-time artists. Like I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of the artists that I've seen over the last year have really done really well from themselves, and it's been good during these hard times especially, so we're all super fortunate.
Yep. And I think it's because of the internet. It's like nowadays you really could do anything with the internet. Like, people are making money off the internet, and it's
Yeah.
like there's way more possibilities for us, as to start venture off into your own lane
Hmm.
than what it was before. So I think
Yeah.
that maybe that's why people are more lenient, or at least parents are, because they're seeing the different things that kids are coming up on.
Yeah.
And so
I know.
yeah.
I think people always like wonder, people that don't know my family and don't know my parents are always like, are your parents like they think they're like the stereotypical like Asian parents that you see on like shows or movies that are gonna be like, no, you need to go get your master's degree and do all that stuff. And I'm like,
Yeah, the
I mean,
coolest
I
parents.
wish I had the brain capacity to do those kinds of
Right?
things. But
I just felt like this is the only thing we know how to do.
I
So
know
it's
this is
like,
the only thing that I'm really like actually that great at. Like I can't do
yeah.
math. But yeah, that's dope. So going back more to your art itself, would you say that your artwork back then when you first started is pretty similar to what it is now, or do you feel like it's like evolved over time? And
I definitely think it's evolved. When I first started doing it, I really didn't know how to work with acrylic or paint, like
yeah,
paintbrush at all. So I was just doing things that I thought looked cool, but how I knew how to do it. So things were more very graphic in the early stages of my work, like
mm-hmm.
as far as like layering and things like that with different shadows and colors and stuff. There's no, it wasn't really super realistic as can do stuff right now. So I think it's really different. And yeah, coming from a graphic design background, that's kind of just how I was creating.
Yeah,
So that was coming out up first. And over time, as I was doing more and more commissions and stuff, um, I kind of like trying to find myself as an artist because I didn't really know. Like, I stopped art for a while before I even went to art school and stuff.
mm-hmm.
And when I was in art school, it was all graphics. So I didn't know who I was as an artist yet. And
Yeah,
as I was doing it every day, painting, it was like I wanted to more and more like what my emotions are and how I could project it to the canvas. So me trying to figure it out, definitely I was exploring different things.
yeah,
And I think from the first stage, it was like very graphic. You know, I was still doing portraits and stuff. But then I started to lose. I was hitting creative blocks and all that, and I was like, I need to do something for myself. And how can I change like what I'm making? Because I just felt
yeah,
like I needed to do something else. And you know, I kind of referred back to using spray can because I was like, what's natural for me was a can of spray paint, and I was like, maybe I'll try this. So that's kind of like how my art evolved into the next phase where I was doing, I think my first piece was like this goofy piece I painted, and it was just strictly like a silhouette, just
yeah,
using spray paint of his head, and I was mixing it with, you know, acrylic brush and stuff, and I just created this piece, and I was like, oh, this is cool, this is fun, like
yeah,
let's keep going. So it kind of moved on to that, and then so it was a little bit more simpler as far as like I wasn't doing more portrait work. I
mm-hmm.
was It kind of led it to more like animated style or touch with my like cartoon side of interest and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So it evolved into that, and then once I kind of like grew from that and I wanted to do something else, it's just always changing for me. Like my ideas are always and I never can like just do one thing for a
yeah,
long time. I always have to like change what I'm doing because I get tired of it. I started incorporating portraits again. So then you'll start seeing like both the graffiti
mm-hmm.
and then the portrait work kind of coming together. So it's like it all kind of meshed. My first phase and the second phase kind of meshed together into the third, you know?
Yeah,
And and eventually I was like, I really just wanted to get good at making things more realistic.
mm-hmm.
But then I started going to that approach, and then it changed again. And yeah, I think it's always changing over time for sure.
I feel like though I can tell like your artwork, which I is like hard to do as an artist, like get an established style, even though you're doing portraits and they're all like
Mm-hmm.
different. I can tell that your work is your work, like through your portraits mixed with your animated stuff. Like it's all very consistent and like recognizable, which
Cool. I'm
is
glad because I remember like when people used to tell me that back then, it's like, you really? Because I don't even know my style. Like I'm still working on my style. I don't know what it is. I'm just like trying to like spill it on the canvas and see what comes out, you know, with just how I know how to paint.
yeah.
That's cool. Like that you think that, you know, if I did something, it's like
Yeah.
a science piece.
I can tell because you started adding more of like the graffiti, like you said, the graffiti layers into it and that element. So it's like, yeah, I can always tell when it's yours.
Ooh.
So when you are going through these creative processes, like you're really kudos to you because you really be sitting there like all day, like painting.
Seriously, sometimes it's not
I
healthy.
wish it was that process for me, but like, I mean, up at like 3 a.m, like sitting there just like staring at it, like, damn, this is hard. But like, I really be going over to your guys' place and you just be sitting in front of the canvas, like so laser focused. And I know because when I call you throughout the day, this is what you're doing all
Yeah.
day.
Or
Like,
sometimes I don't even pick up your calls because I'm like,
right, because you're so like laser focused. So, mom, I heard you're in here. You really be working all the time.
we put in work, we put hours in.
No, it's like, but that's why I always like wonder too, and I don't think I've ever asked you like that being your process, like what a it pretty much is your 9 to 5, which is really the hours you're doing. Like, what do you do when you're like stuck or like creative block?
Oh man, I used to get creative blocks so much back then just because I would just paint for hours, like you said. Like it was burning me out. It was like I gotta get these work done so I can, bring in the money, pay these bills.
Yeah.
But like I just really was trying to put in those hours, and eventually caught up to me, and I just got burnt out. And I think those were the times where I would hit those creative blocks.
Yeah.
And I think I figured out like it's just really like self-care. Like I will take time and like turn the canvas over and like just not look at anything art related for a while, like give myself like even 2 days at least,
Yeah.
just not think about art and do something else. Like I think that's kind of just my process when I hit those roadblocks. And I think my soul will just eventually, like, it wants to paint. So like that moment when I step away for it for a long time, like I end up wanting to paint, and that's when it like everything comes back. So
2 days. I need to take notes. Sometimes I'm taking like a month-long break.
dude, yeah, a whole month, right?
Like,
Hey,
sorry,
sometimes that's what you need. Like
I'm going through it right
it's
now.
hard. I think
It
like it happens so much to all artists. Like creative block is the hardest thing to like deal with.
it is, especially when you're like, shit, I gotta do this and I'm getting paid for this, and
Yeah, and you can't produce, right?
you're
Like
like,
you
you
can't
don't
even.
have time to have creative block. You
Yeah.
gotta do it and get it done. But I guess that's one of the things that kind of goes along with like being full-time artists. And I know a lot of people that are probably in here that are artists as well can relate.
I guess one thing too is like I watch a lot of movies that I've already seen. So like that I know that I'm gonna feel good like after I finish watching it.
Yeah.
Because I love film and like cartoons and anime. Like I'll watch the same stuff
We
over
know.
and
We know
over.
you like anime.
Yeah, I don't know. Shoot, I watch those things and it's like ideas just come out of it, and then I get excited to work again. So that's how I kind of like stop that creative block too.
Yeah. That's why I always will, with the last 3 interviews, I plan on this being kind of like, I love to ask artists what their creative process is like and what they do to get out of creative block. I think for everybody it's different, but it's important. It's important.
You really gotta figure it out on your own. I feel like it's like
yeah. I feel like it's all personal too, because like what you were saying takes you 2 days, mine takes me a month sometimes. So very different. So recently, very recently, last week, you dropped those really dope hoodies and the long sleeves.
Yeah.
What's going on there? Is that more of like what you're trying to lean into? What's the next upcoming projects you have going on? Is it more apparel driven or?
Yeah. I mean, I just love, I kind of just gravitate to like what I'm into at the moment. And like, I mean, back then, before I even got into like a 9 to 5 job out of college, I love streetwear and stuff. And just like, what I wear is like how I feel at the moment. And like I actually started, that was like when I couldn't find a job out of school because, you know, you need like experience and stuff. And it was
Yeah.
hard like trying to be an artist or be a designer without any experience in the industry. And so I was like, you know, I need to do something. And at that time, it was like, I just like, maybe I'll start like a clothing line or something. So I've kind of just been doing clothes before all this
Yeah.
stuff. And like, it was like very fulfilling for me when I was doing that. And I had a whole like screen printer in my garage, and I was just like, you know, making these t-shirts.
Yeah.
And it was like, it felt good. I was like, this is tight. I get to wear my own stuff and like, you know, sell it to my
Start
friends and
running
stuff.
your own, guys. Next run of shirts, run it up, because Simon's gonna be in his living room
No, I'm not doing that.
printing all the shirts himself.
That's a lot of work. But yeah, I mean, they kind of just went back. Like it came full circle, and I just like, I would wear your shirts, and sometimes like just this is how I feel. And I was like, you know, there's ideas that I have, and I'm like, I just want to put how I feel into a shirt and wear it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of just what I've been doing recently, and people are really liking it. And I mean, before, I think like my whole time just creating art, people would always tell me like, hey, I put that on a shirt, I wear it. If you put it on a shirt, I wear it. And I was like, yeah, maybe like I'll get into that. And then it was just that time where I was like, okay, maybe I should put something on a shirt just because, and see what happens. And then the response to it was great. And it's just cool seeing random people wearing my art on their shirt. It was like, it was tight. So I was like, okay, maybe I could do stuff here and there, and it's just fun, you know? So the second time, or my last release last week, I just had this idea for a long time. I've been feeling that way for a long time.
Yeah.
That, you know, like, it's kind of just been my motto, like, just go find your happiness, and like, just tomorrow's never promised. And it's just like what we've been going through this past year.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to put that on merch, and yeah, it's just, people supported it, and I really felt the love from it, and it's just wild. So if any of y'all copped one of those things, like, thank you, because yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I saw your order.
I did. No.
Thank you for that.
No, it's exciting. Yeah, diving into new stuff. That's good. It's kind of like all full circle. Graphic design, you screen printing your own stuff. Now you're doing all this again. So it's dope.
Yeah.
I'm excited for what you have coming up. I don't know what it is. I'm just assuming that it's gonna be really cool, because it probably is. Okay, so we are going to do some rapid fire questions, and then we have a few questions in here. I really can't see. I can't see if it, because the phone's so far away. I told you I'm trying to like squint at the screen like this, and I can barely see. Okay, we'll answer questions at the end if anyone else has questions.
Ooh.
Okay, rapid fire. Ready?
Yep.
Be fast.
I'll try.
Favorite anime?
Spirited Away.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Favorite music album of all time?
This is a hard one. Get Rich or Die Trying. 50
Tina, don't be telling him in the background.
It's true.
Simon's favorite album, not yours.
She knows I love that album. So yeah.
Favorite comfort food?
Sinigang.
Ooh. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
New York.
Favorite artist of all time?
Cause.
If you could swap lives with someone for a day, who would it be?
Cause.
Favorite quote?
Do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Something like that. I think that's how it goes, right? I've always
say your favorite quote.
That's always stuck to me.
I think that's how you say
right?
it.
I always say it wrong.
Yes. Childhood celebrity crush.
Shoot.
Is Tina giving you the death
I used to be into
stare
J-Lo
back there?
and JoJo.
Who?
I used to be into J-Lo and JoJo when I was younger.
Got it. Okay, favorite food spot in Seattle?
Shoot. I mean, I don't really have a favorite food spot.
How do you date a foodie and not?
Yeah.
There's so many good foods in Seattle.
Come on.
But, I mean, I love Panda Express.
Oh my god.
Simon. Don't tell
Okay,
people
okay.
that.
I like this fuzz
The
spot. that we
disrespect.
always go
Tina,
to.
don't associate yourself with him
He
right
loves
now.
Panda. He loves
I do. I love Panda Express, but I would say like my favorite fuzz spot is like this restaurant on 99 called Mekong Village.
I'm still stuck at the fact that you said if you could pick anywhere in Seattle, anywhere. Panda Express is not even specific to
Dude, Panda Express
Seattle.
is fire. Orange
I was
chicken, fried
expecting
rice.
something from one of Tina's like foodie lists. Anytime I'm hungry, I literally go watch her TikToks or
That's
call
the
her.
thing though. I can't choose from those because they're all good.
He really likes Panda Express. Like that's a
Disappointing.
real answer.
It's a real
Okay,
answer.
we're not here to judge, I guess. If you were on a deserted island, what 3 things would you bring?
Pencil and paper, a lighter to make fire so I could be warm, and I'd probably bring Tina so she could.
That's
could be
four.
stuck in.
That's 4 things.
What?
Are you
Pencil
bringing
and
the
paper go
lighter or
together,
Tina?
though.
The lighter or
together.
Tina?
It's either warmth or Tina.
Wow.
So the lighter.
Yeah.
How many times a day do you hear, "Hey, Washington foodies"?
Gosh, too much. I mean, I say it all the time too, so at least like 5 times a day.
Favorite sneaker?
Dang, I can't choose. Air Force Ones.
And Super Mario character of choice.
You know this, Mario. You always be over playing Mario Party, so.
But you guys lost last time. I did
Yeah,
the
for the
big
one out of 100
W.
that Tori
Because
finally
I
won.
won. I won. I'm never going to let you guys forget that.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
AJ
Trophy.
says Jordan ones were your favorite, and that's not close to Air Force Ones.
Okay, my favorite sneaker is literally 99 Oreo 4s that I have. And I'm sad I can't wear it no more, but
See,
that's literally my grail.
big. Yeah, Mario. Rebecca's on here judging your choice in Mario
Yeah,
Party
Mario's the
2.
man. He's
Mario-
the boss.
Mario lost last time. Let's just
He's
say
always
that.
the winner. Come on.
No, nobody's Toad. I was Princess Peach and I won. So, anyways, okay. Questions. If anybody has a question, go ahead and drop it. There's a couple up here already. How do you seek out opportunities?
Well, honestly, it's been great because people have just been DMing me, you know, like Tina's great at marketing. She's been helping me kind of like push out my art since the very beginning.
Yeah.
And it's really just word of mouth, which is amazing. Like people are just kind of talk about it. Like if they're looking for an artist, like, oh, hit up Simon, you know, like
Yeah.
it's been really cool. But I haven't really honestly reached out to anyone. It's just I just kind of just keep creating and then it just comes in and it's great. So it's a blessing for sure.
Got it like that.
Nah, it's not even like that.
I'm just kidding.
It's just a blessing, man. Like,
No, that is a blessing.
yeah.
It's a big blessing. That's dope. Who are your biggest influences?
I mean, I look up to like Pharrell creatively. I mean, you guys can see that I paint him all the time. And also Kobe, rest in peace. But he was like a great inspiration for me. I just honestly just anyone who has done like who went after their dreams, that's like anyone who really just did that, like they're inspiration to me. So yeah.
Oh. Okay, what is the Tina wants to know what you order at Panda Express.
She already knows that. I order
Tell the
honestly
audience.
it's just a bowl. I'm a simple guy. I order a bowl with fried rice.
He's a simple
and orange
guy.
chicken. I'm just a simple guy, you know? Simple life. Simple guy who loves
Life.
Panda Express.
Sweet life.
Yes.
Do you get the orange chicken
I do. The orange chicken is fire.
and the
But-
mushrooms with the broccoli? Or no, green
No,
beans.
that's good.
Isn't
Yeah.
it green beans?
No,
Simon doesn't eat
it's the
vegetables.
beef broccoli.
Simon
You know-
doesn't eat vegetables.
I do. Shh. Don't be so loud. Don't be so loud.
Okay, and where do you get your inspiration from?
I mean, just I watch a lot of films and movies and anime. Like sometimes I'd get inspired just like even how like something is shot cinematically. I'd be like, oh, that's dope. Like I want to create something like that, and like it'll just spark ideas for me. I just watch a lot of movies. It's just storytelling, I guess. So yeah. That's
Okay, going
mainly-
off of
and
that
music.
storytelling part, someone
Yeah.
else asks, what is like the message you are trying to, well, very specifically the question says, where does your work aim to say? Like, what's your message? What do you want people to take away from your work?
I guess it's just I just always try to bring out positivity in my work, like even by just the colors that I choose, and I want people to tap in their like childlike mind, because that's for me that's how I kind of put my brain in when I'm working. I just like go back to the time when I was like younger and like I was just drawing freely, you know, and so that's kind of what comes out into my work. And yeah, I just want people to feel like happy when they see my work, and just hopefully they can get inspired by it and motivated to do something that they love, because that's really all I'm trying to do. I just love this stuff, and like whatever I feel, I'm just spilling it on the canvas, and or even like on a sneaker or on a t-shirt, you know. So just yeah, just find your happy place is really just my message with all my work.
Well, that is a great message, and I'm glad, AJ, that this is the clearest IG live you've ever been on, because it is so close to my face.
Well zoomed in. I'm like trying to be super far now.
Well, I keep trying to like go in. I had to literally zoom in on my Google Doc right here to refer to my notes on my laptop. It's like on 200% right now, and I still am like getting so close. So, but okay, last question. Just kidding. That was the last question.
Cool.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We are so honored to have you as this being your first live. Wasn't bad, right?
I was very nervous because I'm very shy.
So
it was
fun.
cool. I mean, it was chill. You know, I was talking to you, and yeah, it's definitely more comfortable. So here's Tina. But
Yeah,
thank you for letting me on here.
Yeah, we were happy to have you. We're glad we got to talk a little bit more about all the things. We're glad your mom got to be here to see.
Yeah, shout out.
So yeah, thanks so much.
Cool. Bye.
Okay, bye. So thank you guys for tuning in again. We will be announcing who our next artist is for the Layers episode in the next few weeks. We have one more before our big Feels 5 showcase, which is going to be pretty fun and virtual and quarantine style. So Feels 5 showcase is going to be all virtual. We will be dropping more details in the next few weeks as well. That will be on February 27th. So mark your calendars, and thanks, guys.